So today I want to say a few words about resilience and about creativity and the forms that the Spirit takes at unexpected times. I want to talk about a composer born in 1899 to a poor black family near Atlanta, Georgia. And his name was Thomas Dorsey. Not Tommy Dorsey, the trombone player, he was later. This is Thomas A. Dorsey, who was a blues man, played in saloons and dives and haunts in the earliest days of the blues. But while he was still in his 20s, he fell into what we know now to call a deep state of clinical depression. The poor guy couldn't even get out of bed. He couldn't play music, couldn't do anything. And a relative dragged him to church, maybe a little bit unwillingly. And, it was one of these revival type meetings. So he gets dragged to church, and the preacher is healing people. So Dorsey says, I'll give it a try. And the way he tells the story, he says, it was as if that preacher reached into his mouth and pulled a serpent out, and he was immediately cured. And from then on, he devoted his musical life to religion. But the thing was, he didn't change his style. So he brought, what he said later, he brought together the bad news of the blues and the good news of the gospel. And maybe single-handedly created a whole genre of music in the making that we know as gospel music. If he didn't create it single-handedly, he certainly helped propagate it. He moved to Chicago and started working in churches and with choirs. But then tragedy struck again. He was out at a gig, at a conference, away from home, and he got word that his young wife at home was having severe complications in childbirth. And by the time he got home, his wife had died, and by the next day, so had their child. So once again, depression really struck Mr. Dorsey, and he went and he met with his pastor, and he was really feeling at his wits' end, and he called on God in that moment. By the way, there was a great documentary made of Dorsey's life in the 80s where he tells this story. It's called Say Amen, Say Something. And the way he tells the story is that he called on God. He said, Lord, and his pastor says, no, say, precious Lord. So he said, precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on, help me stand. I'm tired, I'm weak, I'm worn. And the whole song came to him. Creativity out of adversity and finding the Spirit in unexpected places, resilience. Ties into Lent, I think, in this time that we're looking for something, and we don't always know what we're looking for. And, whatever it is, when the calendar turns, we turn with it, and wherever we are, we have to go. I thought of that song, and I thought of that story, and the choir's going to sing it.